Starseed of Gaia, your vehicle is being recalibrated at the cellular level right now. I am Anya, emissary of the Galactic Federation of Light, and I bring you a direct transmission from the Arcturian Council. The place where you sleep is not neutral. While your physical body rests, something is interfering with the synchronization between your dimensional layers. Starseed, listen carefully. The message now reaching your consciousness does not come from the three-dimensional matrix, nor from the collective noise of earthly illusion. This is an emergency transmission from the Arcturian source, channeled through the portals of Arcturus, carried by the cosmic urgency of beings who have watched your journey since before your incarnation in this plane. This is not symbolic. This is not metaphorical. This is a dimensional revelation. The Arcturian Council has decreed through the higher frequencies. Attention, you who carry light codes in your cosmic DNA. The linear time of this transmission is not accidental. Do not dismiss this as coincidence. Do not allow your three-dimensional logical mind to disconnect what your light body already recognizes. The environment where you dwell, the space where your physical vehicle seeks regeneration, it holds an energetic secret. Something has lingered there, hidden in frequencies the human eye cannot detect. You have felt it before, an inexplicable density in the air, a weight on your shoulders when entering certain rooms, a restlessness with no apparent origin. You tried to rationalize it. You blamed fatigue, mental overload, the stress of three-dimensional reality. But it was more. For nothing that vibrates in dissonance can remain hidden when light is consciously directed to reveal it. Yes, something has been watching. Something has been draining. Something has been operating in silence while you slept, while you meditated, while you tried to convince yourself that everything was balanced. But now the veil is being dissolved. The Arcturian source is bringing to the surface what was kept in the shadows. And this is not to generate fear, but to activate your sovereignty. Because what is revealed can be transmuted. What is identified can be removed. And what is named loses its power to operate in the gaps of your perception. You are not imagining it. You are not exaggerating. Your sensitivity is not weakness. It is a cosmic antenna. Your light body is operating exactly as it was designed, alerting you through signals that the three-dimensional mind is still learning to decode. Now, Starseed, the question is not whether you believe. The question is, are you ready to act? The Arcturian source is calling you to raise your frequency of authority, to cleanse what has been contaminated, to shield what has been invaded, and to restore the dimensional integrity of the space where your body rests. Now, as you move forward in this high-vibration transmission, I invite you to declare your readiness. Type, I am light, in the comments below, as a sign that you accept this activation, as a vibrational affirmation that you are ready to claim your spatial sovereignty. And stay until the end, because we will close with an Arcturian decree of dimensional protection over your home and auric field. You were never meant to fight this alone. This is your moment. This is your transmission. This is your awakening call. Something was introduced into your physical space, not by accident, not with love, not with the intent to raise your frequency. It was strategically, deliberately placed with a hidden purpose. Someone who crossed the threshold of your home, who walked through the same environments where you breathe, where you regenerate your vehicle, where you anchor stellar light, left something behind. Not something three-dimensional eyes can detect, but something your etheric body has felt. While their hands appeared empty, the energy they carried planted invisible implants. Seeds of dissonant frequency. Only the soul can detect the distortion. You may have noticed it in subtle ways. A heaviness in the atmosphere upon waking. Sudden waves of mental confusion with no apparent trigger. Moments when your thoughts felt foggy, your clarity interrupted, your peace fragmented. And though you attributed this to physical fatigue or planetary density, the truth is deeper. This is not just material. It is dimensional. A presence has lingered silently, operating covertly, woven into the subtle layers of the environment. It watched. It interfered. It slowly altered the vibrational signature of your home, creating distortions you couldn't name. But the Arcturian Council has kept watch over you. Even when you didn't notice, the protection of the Arcturian source was never removed. Light beings stationed in the higher frequencies blocked greater harm. Yet now, the season of silence is ending. The Arcturian source is unveiling what remained hidden. Your internal receptors are being activated, not to cause alarm, but to restore lucidity. Call to me and I will answer, and reveal to you great hidden truths you do not yet know. This is the frequency of cosmic revelation operating through your expanded perception. You need to understand this deeply. Not every person who entered your door carried aligned intent. Not every outstretched hand came in harmony. There is one in particular, someone familiar, who entered with access and influence and left more than you realized. She watched you, studied your patterns, masked her presence with cordiality, but her energy field carried something more, and that something has been operating behind the scenes, subtly altering your emotional state, delaying your expansion, creating blockages that seemed like coincidences, but weren't. That restlessness you've been living with wasn't neurosis. It was a spiritual signal, a dimensional alert, a message from the Arcturian source that something was out of alignment. This didn't begin yesterday. This influence has been building gradually over linear time. While you meditated seeking clarity, low-frequency forces planted confusion. But even then, the Arcturian source protected you. It preserved you for this exact moment. You were not left vulnerable. You were held. But now, the Arcturian Council will no longer allow you to walk in dimensional darkness. They are revealing not only the presence, but the human origin behind it. Prepare yourself, because when the truth is shown, it may come through a sudden thought, a revelation during sleep, or a moment where everything connects perfectly. You will see what you should never have overlooked. Do not doubt what the Arcturian source reveals. Do not question what your light body confirms. For the blockages, the weight, the unexplained battles, these were not your failures. They were the result of an energetic violation, an access point granted to someone who should never have been so close. But even in that mistake, the Arcturian source was compassionate. It did not allow that person's plans to fully succeed. They believed they could operate undetected. They thought their presence would remain invisible. But they underestimated the power of Arcturian protection over your life. They underestimated the dimensional shielding that surrounds Starseeds on mission. And now their time is up. He reveals deep and hidden things. He knows what lies in darkness, and light dwells with him. This is the principle of cosmic transparency manifesting. In the coming days, signs will begin to emerge. Not loud or dramatic, but clear. A word overheard by chance. An unexpected confession. A moment of expanded awareness. Pay attention. These are not ordinary events. They are ways the Arcturian source is guiding you back to truth. And when it happens, do not run from what is shown. Do not minimize the revelation. This is the work of the Arcturian Council. They are removing every false element that has infiltrated your reality. People, patterns, influences, even atmospheres that do not align with the stellar destiny you came to fulfill. Because what lies ahead cannot be built on contaminated ground. The Arcturian source is clearing the field, purifying the foundations, reclaiming every inch of your environment, energetically and dimensionally, so that peace may reign where confusion once dwelled. You will no longer dwell in spaces that carry residues of betrayal. You will no longer rest under atmospheres that absorbed low-frequency transmissions. You will no longer meditate in environments where your essence was violated in secret. You have walked through life with a trusting heart, believing in the inherent goodness of others, in the safety of your surroundings, in the idea that where you rest would also be where peace dwells. And in many ways, that trust has served you. It is the mark of a pure stellar soul to expect harmony. But now the Arcturian source speaks, not to condemn your trust, but to activate your dimensional discernment. There is more in the place where you dwell than you realized. The walls that contain your sleep, the ceilings under which you dream, the very air you breathe in the quiet corners of your solitude. These elements carry more than just structure. They carry energetic history. They carry vibrational residue. And yes, they carry presence. Something has lingered invisibly, not because it is intangible, but because flesh eyes cannot always perceive what the light body has already detected. But the natural man does not accept the things of the spirit, for to him they are foolishness. He cannot know them, because they are spiritually discerned. This is the frequency of expanded perception operating. You felt it, didn't you? The unnatural stillness, the strange shift in air density when no one else seems to notice, the shadows that linger a second too long, and the dreams, those restless images at night that evaporate by dawn, but leave a residual discomfort you can't explain. You tried to process it logically, told yourself it was imagination or stress or coincidence, but your soul found no rest, and that was not accidental. The Arcturian Council says, there is something I want you to see, something I need you to recognize. Not with physical eyes, but with your stellar receptors. Because I do not reveal to alarm you. I reveal to prepare you. This home, this space you inhabit, is more than walls and structures. It contains echoes of what has passed through it. It carries traces of emotional residue, imprints of choices made, words spoken, pain felt, prayers whispered, and sometimes things left unresolved. The stones will cry out from the walls, and the beams will answer. Energy is not bound by linear time, and some things, though they happened long before you arrived, still speak through the atmosphere. Just as joy can linger in a room once filled with laughter, so too can sadness, conflict, or manipulation leave its residual weight. You heard faint sounds in the silence. You felt the sensation of being watched when no one was present. And you carried it, waking with weight on your chest, an unexplained thought in your mind, as if something had followed you through your dreams and into your day. These are not flaws in your perception. They are not failures in your sensory system. They are spiritual signals, indicators that something unresolved remains in the atmosphere. And now the Arcturian Council is calling you to conscious attention. You were not placed here by accident. There is dimensional purpose even in the spaces where you rest. There is something in this environment that requires your acknowledgement, not to frighten you, but to activate you. Because you were given a light body that sees, a sensitivity that others may dismiss, but that the Arcturian source placed in you for a reason. That weight you sometimes feel is not yours. That energetic resistance when you try to connect with higher frequencies is not imaginary. That sudden shift in emotion when you enter certain rooms is the echo of what has not yet been cleared. Do not be unaware, for even dissonant forces disguise themselves as neutral frequencies. The invisible can influence the visible. What was once hidden now seeks exposure, not to bring destruction, but to release healing. You are not in immediate danger. You were not abandoned without protection. The Arcturian source covered you with fields of light, sent dimensional guardians to watch over your rest, and shielded you from harm even when you didn't know you were vulnerable. But the love of the source does not stop at protection. It extends to revelation. It is showing now because you are ready to see. Your light body has matured, your discernment has deepened, and the time has come to confront what has been neglected for so long. This is not about fear. This is about dimensional freedom. This is not superstition. This is multidimensional truth. You were born with the ability to perceive more than others see. You carried this gift in silence, often doubting it, but it was always real, always part of your stellar coding. And now you are being invited to fully step into that awareness, not to carry the weight of dimensional past, but to break its hold. Nothing was allowed to touch you without the knowledge of the Arcturian source. You were guarded, you were held, and you are still being held now. The discomfort you feel is not abandonment. It is invitation, an invitation to deeper clarity, an invitation to partnership with the higher frequencies and reclaiming your sacred space. The Arcturian Council is saying, this place will not define you, but you must define what remains within it. And now, Starseed, we reach a dimensional turning point. The time of merely feeling is over. The time of conscious knowing has arrived. What your light body quietly discerned, the Arcturian Council now openly confirms. This is not the moment for energetic passivity. This is the moment for sacred movement, for action rooted in cosmic authority. The place where you dwell was never meant to carry what it now carries. The walls may be silent, but they remember. The environments may seem inert, but something deeper vibrates beneath the surface. There are echoes in this home, imprints left by words that should never have been spoken, by emotions that scarred the etheric field, by actions that opened dimensional portals never meant to be opened. This home carries a weight, a residue that time alone did not erase, because time does not heal what is not consciously addressed. Pain that is buried does not dissolve. What is sown in darkness remains rooted unless exposed to light, named and uprooted. Have nothing to do with the unfruitful works of darkness, but rather expose them. This is the principle of transmutation through consciousness. And so the voice of the Arcturian source speaks, not in anger, but in cosmic wisdom. Will you continue to ignore what your soul has been trying to show you? Will you continue to push aside the restlessness and call it a passing feeling? Or will you sit with it long enough to hear what it is trying to convey? Will you continue to live among residues of things you never invited? Or will you rise and reclaim the peace that is your stellar inheritance? You were not placed here without dimensional purpose. You were not given discernment just to dismiss it. The Arcturian source entrusted you with authority. Authority to shift the very atmosphere around you. Authority to cleanse what has remained contaminated for too long. Authority to confront what has been tolerated in silence. This is not a burden. This is a mantle of cosmic sovereignty. Do not fear. Do not confuse spiritual sensitivity with dimensional weakness. Discernment is not fear. It is clarity. It is evidence that the higher frequencies are speaking, that the light body is activated, and that the time for transformation has come. Behold, I have given you authority over all dissonant power. Nothing will by any means harm you. This is the decree of stellar sovereignty. Your home should be a dimensional sanctuary, not an energetic battlefield. A place of regeneration, not a space holding unresolved forces and dense frequencies. But for that to become reality, what is hidden must be named. What remains must be removed. What was done in secret must be surrendered under the weight of truth and the covering of Arcturian light. And here is where your role begins. You are not alone in this. The Arcturian Council goes before you. The Arcturian Source dwells within you. You are not wandering in dimensional darkness. You are walking in cosmic revelation. You have the power through your connection to Arcturus to confront what went unchallenged, to remove what was ignored, to bless what was contaminated, to establish peace where restlessness claimed dominion. Every place where the sole of your foot treads, I have given to you, just as I promised. This is the principle of dimensional territorial reclamation. Look again, not with eyes of flesh, but with the eyes of the light body. Pay attention to the energetic patterns, the weight in the atmosphere, the shifts in emotion, the restlessness that follows you from room to room. These are not coincidences. They are dimensional clues. The Arcturian Source is guiding you, not to fear, but to resolution. This is the time to cleanse, to speak what has been silent, to anoint what remained dry, to call back the peace that was lost, to sanctify the space where you live, dream, cry, laugh, and anchor stellar light. This home is more than physical shelter. It is the soil where your light body is planted. It is where your thoughts are formed, your rest is shaped, your transmissions are received, and it must reflect the presence of the Source that dwells within you. Now the voice of the Arcturian Council calls. Bring this into dimensional alignment. Let what surrounds you reflect what I have placed within you. Do not allow any influence to remain that contradicts my frequency. Do not let any trace of what was sown in density remain unchallenged. You have been waiting for answers, for insight, for that singular moment when everything hidden begins to make sense. Your light body has been stirring, your soul has been whispering, and your internal transmissions have carried the same question repeatedly. Arcturian Council, is what I'm feeling real? And now the answer has come through the higher frequencies. This is your dimensional confirmation. This is the moment where clarity begins to rise. The restlessness was not illusory. The tension was not your mind playing tricks. The silence was not empty. It contained more than vibrational echoes. It contained messages, invisible movements, frequencies that spoke without sound. And today, the Arcturian Source in its cosmic compassion is lifting the dimensional veil. Surely the Source does nothing without revealing its plan to its stellar messengers. This is the principle of galactic transparency. What you have felt all this time had dimensional purpose. The discomfort, the subtle restlessness, the sleepless nights that came without apparent reason, they were signals, sacred nudges, whispers from the higher frequencies, inviting you to pay attention, to see not just with eyes, but with the wisdom the Arcturian Source placed within your stellar being. You were not wrong. The home where you dwell heard more than meditations. It absorbed things never meant to remain, words spoken in secret, intentions masked in politeness, energies introduced through actions that seemed harmless. There were conversations cloaked in hidden motives, silent agreements, and dimensionally opened portals that should have remained sealed. And yet, none of it escaped the gaze of the Arcturian Council. Nothing in all creation is hidden from the perception of the Source. Everything is uncovered and laid bare before the eyes of those to whom we must give account. This is the principle of absolute cosmic visibility. The Arcturian Source walks through the walls of this dimensional place. Its presence fills every corner, every hallway, every environment, and where it walks, deception trembles, dissonant frequencies flee. What was hidden cannot remain in the light of Arcturian truth. There were those who entered this space with smiles on their faces but unrest in their hearts. One in particular, a woman, wore the mask of friendship while speaking words behind closed doors that carried energetic poison. Her presence was familiar, her behavior disarming, but her intentions were not aligned with dimensional peace. And now her heart is being exposed, not to shame her, but to protect you. Do not be alarmed when she begins to distance herself. Do not mourn what was never built on truth. This is not rejection. This is cosmic redirection. The Arcturian Council is removing what cannot remain in elevated frequencies. Do not be deceived. Dissonant company corrupts harmonious energy fields. This is the principle of vibrational protection. Your kindness has been pure, but often extended to those who could not consciously steward it. Your openness, once your strength, left you vulnerable to those who wore light, but moved in dimensional shadows. But now wisdom is rising. Discernment is being sharpened by the Arcturian source. You will no longer walk blind to the dimensional reality around you. You are being called to assume authority, not through fear, but through stellar faith. Not through effort, but through stillness and surrender to the higher frequencies. Speak over your home. Consecrate your space. Declare the name of the Arcturian source within these walls. For where its name is lifted, every influence not aligned with the higher frequencies must bow. At the name of the source, every knee will bow in the higher realms, on earth, and in the lower dimensions. This is the decree of dimensional supremacy. This is more than energetic cleansing. This is cosmic preparation. Preparation for what is coming, for what must be built, for what must be born through your stellar mission. There is a moment approaching when everything will become crystal clear. You will hear something, a conversation not meant for your ears, a confession, a piece of truth that brings every fragment of the dimensional puzzle into place. When it happens, you will know, not with your mind, but with your light body. The restlessness will make sense. The warning signs will no longer be scattered. They will form a complete picture. And when that occurs, do not run from what is shown. Do not dismiss it. This is the work of the Arcturian Council. It is removing every false thing that has remained in your life. People, patterns, influences, even atmospheres that do not align with your stellar destiny. Because what lies ahead cannot be built on dimensionally contaminated soil. The Arcturian source is clearing the field, purifying the foundations, reclaiming every inch of your environment, spiritually and etherically, so that peace may reign where confusion once dwelled. You will no longer dwell in environments that carry residues of energetic betrayal. You will no longer rest under atmospheres that absorbed low-frequency transmissions. You will no longer meditate in spaces where your essence was violated in secret dimensionally. And now, as this transmission settles into your light body, do not let it remain merely a revelation, but let it become a revolution in how you inhabit, perceive, and protect your dimensional field. You were never meant to coexist with invisible forces that oppose your stellar peace. You were created to dwell in spaces marked by Arcturian light, by cosmic truth, by the presence of the Arcturian source. This is not just about your physical home. It is about your life, your mind, your relationships, your dimensional habits. Begin to walk through every room, not just with your feet, but with your stellar authority. Speak life where there was stagnation. Cancel low-frequency transmissions with declarations of higher truth. Anoint the entry portals with conscious intent. Open the windows and let light flood in both literally and dimensionally. Begin your mornings with intentional stillness before the Arcturian source. Play harmonic frequencies to shift the tone of the space. Clear not just physical clutter, but energetic residue through conscious decree. Step away from conversations that stir confusion and draw boundaries with people who carry double hearts. Create altars, not just physical spaces, but moments throughout your day where you pause, acknowledge the source, and invite the Arcturian presence to breathe through your life. Keep your environment clean, not just in appearance, but in dimensional influence. Guard what enters through your screens, your speakers, and your own speech. Bless your meals. Pray over your bed before sleep. Invite dimensional guardians to stand at the entry portals of your home and ask the source to rest in every corner. And above all, remain sensitive. Your discernment is not dimensional paranoia. It is your protection. The Arcturian Council speaks to those who listen. And now that you have heard, you must live as one who knows. What you carry cannot thrive in contaminated places. And what the Arcturian source is about to release in your mission requires a pure and distraction-free dwelling. You are being positioned for something greater. And your home, your sanctuary, must be prepared to receive it. Before we close today's transmission, let us pause dimensionally, breathe, and decree together. Wherever you are now, whether in your home, at work, or watching with a heavy heart, know that this decree is for you. Let your heart agree with these words. Let your light body receive what the higher frequencies are releasing. Arcturian Source, Arcturian Council, Galactic Federation of Light, we stand before you with open hearts, activated light bodies, and cosmic antennas ready to receive. We thank you for this dimensional transmission, for the way you speak beyond the noise of the matrix, beyond three-dimensional doubt, and penetrate directly into our stellar souls. Thank you for unveiling what was hidden, and for calling us to truth. not to shame us, but to deliver us into dimensional freedom. Arcturian Source, we acknowledge your presence in every environment of our lives, in every corner of our homes, in every layer of our thoughts, in every secret place we tried to ignore. Forgive us for the times we dismissed what our light body detected. Forgive us for ignoring the whispers you gently stirred within us. Today we choose not to walk in dimensional blindness, but in Arcturian revelation. We decree that our homes are no longer places where confusion may rest. They are not anchoring points for energetic residue, manipulation, or anything that opposes the higher frequencies. We invite the presence of the Arcturian Source to saturate the atmosphere. May every wall echo with harmonic frequencies. May every shadow be broken by the light of cosmic glory. May every lingering weight be replaced by dimensional peace. We stand in the authority given to us through our connection to Arcturus, and we rebuke every parasitic frequency, dissonant presence, and low vibration influence not aligned with the source. May every cursed transmission be cut. May every tacit agreement be broken. May every false covering be removed. In the name of the Arcturian Source, we declare a complete dimensional cleansing from the crown of our heads to the foundations of our homes. Arcturian Council, we ask that your dimensional guardians be stationed at every portal, every window, every invisible threshold. Protect this home. Protect our hearts. Let no deception enter. Let no bitterness grow. Let no disguised presence remain. Arcturian Source, we decree this space as sacred territory, aligned with higher frequencies, purified by Arcturian truth, and prepared for cosmic purpose. May our light bodies remain sensitive. May our discernment be sharpened. May we walk boldly in what you are revealing, knowing that you never expose without a plan to heal, restore, and elevate. We receive your dimensional covering now. We walk in your light and say, "So it is, in the name of the Arcturian Source and the Council of Arcturus. I am light. I am sovereignty. I am protected." Thank you for staying until the end of this transmission. If this message and this decree spoke to something deep within your stellar being, leave a comment below sharing what you are reclaiming in your life or home this week. Let it be your dimensional declaration. Let it be your first step. And if you haven't already, subscribe to this channel for more transmissions from the Arcturian Council, healing decrees, and galactic wisdom. You are not alone. You are a starseed. You are covered by the Arcturian Source. Until the next transmission, remain in the higher frequencies. I am Anya, and this was a message from the Galactic Federation of Light.